This is the June 11th monthly board meeting of the Millbrook Board of Trustees. Please stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Clerk Witt.
Mayor Doro,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Murphy. Here. Trustee Buckland. Here. Trustee Lawson. Here. Trustee Sochi. Here.
I believe Clerk Witt sent out the minutes for the May meeting earlier this week. Any changes, corrections, adjustments? I have a motion to approve those. Second. All in favor? Thank you. We're also passing around the vouchers. I have a motion to approve the vouchers unless there's any questions at the moment. Second. All in favor? Thank you. Just a couple other housekeeping things. We were approached by Millbrook Winery. Every year, for the last 4 years, actually, former Yankee center fielder Bernie Williams has gone there and played. He became a pretty renowned jazz musician after leaving the Yankees, and this will be the 4th year. And every year they donate a portion of the ticket sales and other wine sales to local arts and music programs. And this year there will be a donation made to the music programs at Dutchess Community College. So they asked the board to do one of our famous proclamations. So we did that. And I won't read every word here, but Millbrook Vineyards and Winery was established in 1982 on a former dairy farm in New York's Hudson Valley, founded by John Dyson and David Bova. It was founded on principles of innovation and experimentation. Today produces approximately 15,000 cases of wine on 38 acres. Includes a wide variety of plantings and a variety of grapes. It really has developed into a world-class tourism destination. People come from all over the state, the country, the world to come to Millbrook Winery. So we're very lucky to have it within our community. And Bernie, he really, he's earned and justly deserved public recognition for his annual philanthropic gestures, which focus on enriching area music and arts programs. So we're just sending some appreciation to Mr. Williams, his band of friends, and Millbrook Vineyards and Winery for hosting the 4th annual Summer Jazz Concert, and for donating portions of those sales to the music programs at DCC. So that's really cool. So we'll send over a proclamation stating it as such. Any questions? All right, moving on. Legislator House, I see you're in the building. Nice to see you.
Hi all. Thank you for taking time for me tonight. A couple quick updates I want to give you on the county. We had our monthly meeting on Monday, and so we set 2 public hearings that may be of interest to the public, especially town of Washington, I will say, in Millbrook. First public hearing is on inclusion in the Farm and Ag Protection District for the county, and that will be at our monthly meeting in July, which is the 2nd Monday in July. We'll be having the public hearing on that for inclusion of parcels into the ag districts. And then we will also be setting the public hearing and having a public hearing at that same meeting in July on the Dutchess Community College budget. As you know, the county legislature approves the Dutchess Community College budget because the county is 1/3 of the community college's budget. We provide 1/3 of the funding. The Dutchess Community College is asking for a 0 increase this year from the county taxpayers, mostly in anticipation of a large bond resolution to rehab some of their buildings coming up in 26 and 27. I sat in on a meeting with them on their 5-year capital plan, and there's some big projects coming down the pipe from Dutchess Community College. Obviously, you need to invest in your buildings. So due to that, they're asking for a 0% increase on the county's portion of their funding this year. So they will have a public hearing on that in July. But what I also wanted to let you know tonight is that County Exec's office, along with the county legislature, awarded $250,000 in grants specific to youth programming. And I'm happy to announce that the Millbrook Library was awarded $15,000 specific for purchase of new toys and social play materials that will support 10 youth-focused programs within the library. It will be serving more than 650 children in the town of Washington and the village of Millbrook. And the goal is the hopes to increase at least 20% of use of the library for our local youth. So I think that's a lofty goal, and hopefully it works out and the money is well spent. And so it's good news, and you can bring money back into the district. And I know town of Washington has applied for a grant to do some senior programming, so hopefully that will be awarded and I can announce that next time.
Good,
Yes.
thank you.
Thanks. Anything else you need from me?
Great news.
Awesome, thanks.
My boys will be very happy to hear the library stuff. We're big fans. And I want to thank you as well for the recommendation for the Veterans Mini Grant.
Yes,
I did apply
I saw that.
to get our Hometown Heroes program off the ground. So a little bit of initial funding might help to jumpstart that.
Yeah, and I just followed up to make sure the grant was received and being reviewed, and it is received and being reviewed.
Great, much appreciate the recommendation there.
Yeah, no problem, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Legislator House? Thank you so much. I forget your official title. Yes. Assistant Chief Race.
So we did 19 AFAs, 2 carbon monoxide alarms, 11 brush fires, 2 orders of gas calls, 2 motor vehicle accidents, fall at a work site was 1 call, and we assisted the state police with traffic once. Our 4972 responded 12 times and transported 5 to the hospital, for a total of 83 calls.
Okay. I want to make the board aware that I requested NDP's data for last year, and former Mayor Colopy and I went over it in terms of EMS calls, and we found that Cardinal Hayes was actually probably, was it 16%?
Yeah.
Of EMS calls for I think 2024 calendar year, which is probably more than any other person or institution. And as a nonprofit, they don't pay taxes, so something to think about for all of us. Because I kept seeing their name come up all the time, calls. So I don't know if you have any other color or data about how many times. I mean, you're not really going up there so much, but just keep it on your radar, I guess. Let us know if you see anything, and we'll keep an eye on things as well. Okay, thank you. Questions for Tim?
I just wanted to also add to the analysis, the revelation that there were a lot of calls by NDP within 4 hours of one another. I forget the number, I'm gonna say it was about 50 across 2024. The reason why that's concerning is because, given where we are in the county, when NDP makes a call and has to run to the hospital, the truck might be out of service for as much as 4 hours. All right, and so this is information to have under your belt when you go into discussions with the county who wants to put an IMA in place to provide their service car to supplement the service we're providing by both the volunteers as well as NDP. Because they're gonna be charging the villages, the municipalities for that service. And so we're already paying $600,000 a year
Right.
for the current contract with NDP. And the county's additional cost, which I think we're gonna start in next year, if I understand that the timeline. IMA signed off this year for implementation next year. That's gonna be an adder to what we're budgeting already for ambulance service. So that's something we should be very keen on.
Right.
So I don't know if anybody has mentioned this to you, so Dutchess County has an ambulance service that they centralize in Dutchess County. So there is, if our NDP rig and the Northern Dutchess paramedics leave
Yeah.
and we end up having another call, it is just a BLS unit, it's not a paramedic. They are actually centered in Dutchess County, so they're right by Troop K.
Right.
So they're pretty much centralized in the county, so if need be, they could shoot and come to us, go to neighboring departments, so just a little ease of mind, there is another ambulance
Yeah, no, totally. Understood.
in this area. Just a quick pick of the draw, pretty much what it comes down to, of who gets that ambulance.
Yeah. I think what Tim is saying is that even, they had some, I think it was COVID money left over to pay for it basically this year. Going forward, they wanna have an agreement with municipalities and then pass that cost along. So we'll be paying NDP, and then hypothetically, we'd be paying another provider as secondary backup for the calls where they come in. So that would be a fiscal hit for us.
So it'll be 700,000 next year on top
It
of
could be however
whatever the
much.
cost is.
Yeah, it goes to 700,000 next June
Next year will
first.
be 700, and then it'll be whatever the cost of that car is.
Right.
Right.
If I just may add that the county is sharing with municipalities, villages, the rate of which they are servicing each area. So obviously you as a board should look at whether or not that county unit, it's an ALS, it's a BLS, which is also a fly car. If you're using those services, the last time I looked at the report, Village of Millbrook, Town of Washington did not receive any service but one backup call. So, go into the IMA with your eyes wide open.
Is that all we saw, Tim? Was just one? I thought there was.
I thought there were a couple, but actually it was just getting off the ground, so that may be the data.
Yeah.
There was a
It
few,
was late in the year.
it was called off, it was called,
Oh,
but
that's
then
right,
called
those
off.
calls were correct, that's right.
It's the response, not en route they'd be called off, because our ambulance got out.
And that's just not a that's not a problem here.
Yeah.
It's all Dutchess County.
Yeah, no, I know. Okay.
And our ambulance has actually been getting out a lot more.
Yeah.
We have a lot more EMTs
Great.
and then
It's awesome.
a lot of EMTs during the day as well.
It's good news. Very cool. Okay. Any more questions for Tim? We'll move to Matthew.
Trustees, you should have in your mailbox an invitation if you have not picked it up yet. Sorry, the mayor got his mail to him. To participate in the Fireman's Parade on July 12th. Just let me know. Peter marches, so that we can provide a car for you if you care to ride.
My son's March. I just sort of accompany them. Keep them on a straight line.
Remember, you're going uphill this year.
A what?
You're going uphill.
Dominic and I are gonna set up a meeting with the chief of police to go over the parade and any assistance we may need for traffic and the actual days of the carnival. So far, about 12 fire companies coming to march in the parade. And 2026 and 2027, the Millbrook Fire Department will be hosting the Dutchess County Convention Parade. We had it for 27 and 26 was open, so we applied for it and we have it. Back in February, I took a ride down to the Beacon Fire Department and picked up 82 trophies that they were gonna throw away because 2 of their fire companies were evicted and they had to get out.
Saw that.
So that actually helps our costs. We don't have to pay for trophies, we just have to have the names changed.
Ah,
Well
recycle,
done, Matthew.
reuse, I love it,
Yeah, I like
love it. All right, man, go.
Bargain hunting, I like that.
I love it.
What is the parade that the Dutchess County?
Dutchess County Volunteer Firemen's Dress Parade, it's a convention parade,
Convention parade. So what does that mean?
more fire departments.
Gotcha. Cool.
And the association gives the departments that host it $4,000 right away. So really it was no
That's
brainer to take it, it's a regular parade with more fire companies.
That's great.
Perfect spot
We
for
have a
it.
date
Yeah,
for
it's
that?
perfect.
Our parade carnival is usually the second week in July.
Okay, so that's July 12th.
Well, it depends on what next 2026 and
Oh, right,
27
right,
dates
right,
are.
got it. So that'll be for next year.
Correct. All I have for you.
Everybody who I've spoken to is very excited about the return of the carnival, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great addition to the summer activities. Questions for Matthew?
When's the carnival?
July 9th through the 12th.
Nice.
What's the last year you hosted the convention?
We had it in our anniversary, which was 2018,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
our 115th anniversary. Oh, no. 2020, I believe it was, or 2023 is when we last had the convention,
Okay.
so 2 years ago.
What was the last year for the carnival?
2017,
Wow.
Wow.
because then COVID hit
Yeah.
and we didn't have the carnival for 2 years, and then we had the block party for 3.
Wow. Thank you, Matthew.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Chief Dworkin.
As you can see, we responded to 172 calls for service. 3 of those were investigations. 1 was a missing person. A child was located by the responding officer. A forgery and fraud case, which we are currently investigating, and a juvenile case, which was minor in nature and turned over to the school district for follow-up. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Any questions about anything?
The parking summons, where are they happening most commonly areas?
In front of the DMV is always a hot spot because you get so many people from out of the area.
Mhm.
And really, the rest of it's kind of sprinkled throughout the village.
And we did receive new tickets for parking. So we're back,
Back in
Online.
service. All right.
so you will. Okay.
That's it.
Chief, what about your proposed hire? Are you ready to discuss that? I distributed the materials to the board. I don't know if you wanna.
Sure. So we have an officer who's soon to retire from a county agency. He comes with about 25 years of experience in a lot of areas that will really benefit the village. Because he worked in a diverse community, he brings that. He's very community policing oriented. He is a traffic officer, motorcycle officer. He's trained in commercial vehicle enforcement, which could be a real benefit to us as far as traffic on Franklin Avenue, but I think that's about to change soon, hopefully. But he's just a really well-rounded officer, and he's young for a retiree, so potentially he could be here for many years. I and making that recommendation to the board tonight for his appointment as a part-time police officer.
So we'll discuss it as a group in executive session, but for now, do we have, and I think the commercial vehicle experience would be very beneficial, especially on Franklin. We'll get into a little bit more on Franklin in a little bit, but I think that's great experience. While we have Chief now, board, is there any questions about this candidate that Chief might be able to answer before we discuss it as a group later on?
No,
No.
good for me.
Good.
Thanks, Chief.
You're welcome.
Highway now?
Yes.
Let's go to the highway, mowing season. And Ethan and the boys mowed the village properties weekly, maintained one of the dump trucks in-house. He attended Arbor Day on Elm Drive School to help dig and plant a new maple tree. There was on the corner of Maple and Elm, there was a sinkhole that started due to a rusty pipe between catch basins. And it blew out, and Ethan was able to repair that, which will need to be attended to someday, but we fixed it as best we could. All the curbs were painted. Yellow curbs for no parking, red curbs for parking for the fire lane. No parking for the fire lane. And patched Weatherford Lane at the bottom of Anson Avenue with hot blacktop. Fixed the pipe crossing on Church Street. That was heavy by the frost from the winter with hot blacktop. Ethan attended a meeting with us to go over potential, well, we got the grant, right? We got the grant for the sidewalk project on the north side. But we all went with Harvey, our Ready Engineering, and went over everything, took a second look at it. And that'll be getting, when we gonna start that? We gotta get bids first, right? Bidding.
We're getting it surveyed first,
Surveyed,
first step,
and then bids.
and then we go from there.
Yeah. They average 5 to 8 loads of weekly of brush. All the village roads were swept. They had a busy month. Painted the dump body on that 2015 Ford F-550. Attended the 78th annual school for highway superintendents at Ithaca too. I think that's pretty much.
And I will send some notes around to the board from Ethan's attendance at this
It was beneficial.
highway superintendent conference that he went to a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
He really thought it was a very beneficial experience. What's sticking out in my mind without looking at his notes is just some grant opportunities, perhaps for this building, as well as some other road grants.
And municipality sharing, so like
Yeah.
getting machines and equipment from other municipalities and working together to provide a little bit better of a job or
Renting it,
keep things
basically.
more in-house as opposed to potentially sending it out to contractors, you know?
And another thing that Superintendent Kelly took the lead on is something that we'll discuss with Josh shortly. Basically, making it official that we take care of certain roads in the village, alleyways, and other roads. So if we make it official, we get more CHIPS dollars per year. So this was like an easy thing for us to do. So more to come on that very shortly. But that was kind of all of Ethan's idea. So that was really great too. And then something you mentioned, the sinkhole on Maple and Elm. I don't know if anybody right near the tennis courts, if anybody's seen it recently, but it was quite bad the other day. They fixed it on Monday, but it's gonna have to be probably permanently fixed
At some point.
Who knows, soon
We'll have to
or
come up with a plan. I mean, the whole pipe's shot. The whole bottom of it's rotted out. It's like all the metal pipes, you know, they just rot when salt goes in the catch basin, it runs through and then it lays in there and sits and then it rusts.
just like we
So-
replaced the pipe on Washington.
Eventually we'll have to do something there. Hopefully we can keep this patched up for as long as we can.
Yeah.
You know, until we come get some money to do that.
It's right near the school, obviously. Buses turn there to go into Elm. So it was it's a tough spot right there, right near on top of the tennis courts. So we'll keep an eye on
Any questions? If so, call Ethan.
I will call Ethan, but so there's, and I'll talk about this more, but we have a couple of tree planting, questions.
Okay.
And he did take a look at the trees near the diner. He sprayed them with something,
Okay.
but it seems to have helped a little bit.
Okay.
If you want to give him a ring, maybe sometime this week or something,
I'll do that.
and he can talk to you.
Just thinking on the sidewalk project, I just happened to run into Harvey at the Dover subway, but anyway, we got to talking about the curbing. And I'm hoping that you guys early on get the state DOT in the loop,
Mhm.
decide on what needs to be done, what we cannot, what we don't have to do regarding the curbing.
Yeah.
Because as he said, this is true, the curbing is way shot.
Yeah.
So bad.
And I don't want us to get into the same loophole we had last time, which is they say while you're there,
Mhm.
do the curbs. So early discussion with DOT, I think would be beneficial to line up just exactly what's required and fight with them then,
Mhm.
as opposed to before we go out to bid.
Yeah, plus the curbs are technically theirs,
That's right, technically,
so,
we know what happened
they
last time.
should be repairing them.
So,
It's one of the early action items
Good.
is getting communication out to them. We've already looked at more curbing that probably needs repair that's outside of the scope of the original plan. So we're gonna try to do as much as we can while keeping it as economic as possible, so
all right, good, thanks.
but that's on our radar, thank you. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Murphy, for that.
You're very welcome, sir.
Scott?
Alright, for May on the water side, all maintenance and sampling was performed. We installed a new curb valve and removed the old meter pit off of Franklin for Thorndale Farm. Had 2 service line leaks, one on Franklin, one on 44 that were repaired by the owners. And we replaced the water valve at the corner of Front and Washington.
Questions for Scott on water?
And over the sewer plant, as you can see, we had abundance of rain. All maintenance and sampling, we cleaned filter beds, and we finished the setup for airing the ORF, and whatever stops raining, we'll have a chance to perform that work.
So I believe, from my perspective, we are basically done with the EPA audit of the sewer plant. One of the last action items, as we all know, is this aeration of the ORF. We haven't really been able to start yet just because of the levels of rain. So we are continuing to wait for levels that allow Scott to do it in a safe way. So thank you for your continued patience on that, Scott. Any sewer questions for Scott? Thank you, Scott. I'm not gonna forget your various things this time. So
All right.
just-
All right, so for the month of May, building department, we issued 3 building permits, 2 certificate of occupancies, 1 certificate of compliance, 2 municipal searches, and 2 fire inspections that aren't STRs. Total fees collected $1,846.64. The planning board had a public hearing on June 9th concerning 18 Washington Ave. I don't know if there's a follow-up or ZBA or anything I've heard, so I'm not sure. And the year 2 STRs are starting to get a hold of Justin for their second year of fire inspections. So that's all I have for building. Let's see what else is there.
No, just that, Justin has been, as you know, he's here on Fridays. He's been very, very busy, doing inspections, speaking to the public, writing letters to various people. Couple, as you walk up Merritt and as you walk down front, you've got a continuing problem with people's shrubs kind of coming into the sidewalk, unable to walk on the sidewalk safely. Sightlines, so sending out letters for that. Upkeep of lawns, mowing the lawn in an appropriate, on an appropriate schedule. All of that is in the code. If you do or don't know, so he's been busy and he's been doing a great job. So we are moving along regarding building and planning and zoning.
And I do believe there are more fee updates to come. What I understand,
Yeah,
between
yep.
Ken and
Yep.
Justin, so.
Maybe by, I think next month, July meeting, they might have some for us.
So, here are the bank balances for May 2025. If you have any questions on these are the Bank of Millbrook ones. And then we have New York class. And then a total. Mailed out taxes on May 28th, sorry if you guys aren't as well. And they've been rolling in as of yesterday, just shy of 315,000, so it's pretty good for 10 days in. Submitted another request for final approval for the DASNY reimbursement. Still waiting to hear on that. Getting ready for the annual financial report. So for the year that just closed. I had planned to have budget adjustments for you guys, but I had an issue come up, so I will have them for a July meeting. And then happy new fiscal year. So that's all I have for treasury.
Thank you. As we all know, the previous fiscal year has closed. Any final expenses, please get them in. All my department heads have left, especially the fire, who are the biggest problems here. But anything last minute, and then on over.
Pretty fair.
Yeah, I know you're good. You're good.
You're on it.
You're on
He's a
it.
model employee.
Model employee.
That's what you
indeed.
said.
That isn't
Yeah.
an employee.
But yeah, so Karen was supposed to be here today to give us kind of just a overview of the prior fiscal year. We are gonna table that for July, and then we will work on the annual financial report for basically the end of July.
Correct.
It's fiscal wise, you want to mention?
Yeah.
I have a question. With the final numbers from the county for the property tax allotment and also the state mortgage tax, both came on like 10,000 short from the budget. Are we finished with the revenue reception?
I know we just received another one. I think it just came in late last week. But I have to check to see about when they all came in. That's usually part of
So there might
my
be still some coming
process.
in.
It's possible,
Okay.
but I know we had gotten one that was in June that is actually dedicated for our portion of it
Okay.
is for the last fiscal year. So when I meet with Karen again, we're gonna go over that and we'll.
So just like when
We'll
you
work that
try to get all the expenses and make sure you get all the revenues in there.
Correct. Yep, before we officially close
Yeah,
everything,
okay,
we'll
good.
have that. Yep.
Thanks.
And we'll also have budget adjustments for the board to review and hopefully approve in July as well.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Wait. Let's see. Old business, not really, new business, we'll go to trustee updates later. Josh, before we go to public comments, let's just get Josh in and out of here, hopefully. Sure. You're on the clock, probably.
I was just looking at the clock, yeah. Mine is off. All right, so you want to talk about alleyways?
Sure, yeah, I gave a little bit of color there, and Josh put together a resolution for all of us, that you have. Again, basically expanding and extending, what is a village street. Washington Avenue, Russell Knowles, Front Street. Two parts of Russell Knowles are public. They're plowed by the village, they're taken care of by the village, they contain village utilities. Similar, right, basically from the Front Street up to the fire department, village property. Pilgrim Lane is a alleyway over here, goes all the way down, same thing. Village plows it, contains utilities. Cullen, same. Velletri Way, same. And then the part of Pilgrim near the library as well. So we're taking care of it. They have utilities. Let's get some money from the state to keep on the upkeep because some of these alleyways are in very bad shape. So thanks to Ethan for getting all of this to Josh. Josh, any legality we have to
No,
think about here?
you summarized it correctly. The idea here is the village is making a determination that these streets, alleyways, are user roads. And to be a user road, it has to have been in public use for a minimum 10 years. We know that it's a lot longer than that, probably. Doing this allows you to put it on your CHIPS inventory and it allows you to get more funding. So this resolution just memorializes that. Nothing more.
Okay, thank you. That being said, I will make a motion to approve this resolution.
Second.
Clerk Flair.
Mayor Doro,
Aye.
Trustee Murphy,
Aye.
Trustee Lawson.
Aye.
Trustee Buckland. Trustee Sochi.
Thank you. Great, perfect. Thank you, Josh. And then just to follow up on the traffic on Franklin. As we know, prior Mayor Colopy, Deputy Mayor Murphy, Chief Dworkin, Ethan met with a DOT representative a couple months back. The gist of that conversation was, hey, if you enter into an IMA with the town of Washington and you both agree to redirect large truck traffic off of Franklin out of the village using basically the old 44A or some other state route, we'll look at it, review it, and okay it. After which you can put signage up and you can enforce that. Josh has been in contact with Town of Washington Council regarding this, and I am attending the town board meeting tomorrow night, the Town of Washington, to give the town board basically that same spiel. And then after which, we're pretty close to an agreement with the IMA.
I sent them a draft.
Okay.
I don't anticipate there be too many changes. I am wondering if the DOT should be a signatory to the agreement. They didn't indicate that they should be, but something that I'm gonna discuss with town council.
Okay.
But, you know, the rest of it's there.
Or maybe at least get their eyes on it, so we don't have to go back if it's wrong or they want it
You're right.
some other way.
You're-
And I think Chief Dworkin probably has the contact information for that person.
Yes,
Want to tell me or
I'll
send
send it to you.
Okay.
So that's great news, obviously. Truck traffic on Franklin. Review, it's just been a problem for years. It's a danger. It's annoying for visitors and residents alike. So the sooner we can work on this, I think the better off the whole village will be. Much safer for pedestrians, bikers, and kids, and everybody else. So that's great. Thank you, Josh.
Sure.
That's it for that, right?
That's it for that.
All right. Anything
Good.
else?
You want me for cell tower agreement or you got that?
That is, that's just a preliminary discussion. We'll loop you in as needed maybe after this conversation.
Okay, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see you.
Okay, before we, I think that's probably, we'll do trustee updates, but any comments from the public while we're here? Questions, concerns? Trustee updates, trustee Buckland.
Sure. So the Shade Tree Committee has met. We have identified, let's see, it looks like 6 trees that we're going to have out on a limb removed, and I'm gonna talk to Ethan about that. There's some question about what 39 Elm Drive is, because we can't find 39 Elm Drive. There's a 41 and a 37, anyway, so, okay, and that was on Ethan's list, so I just need to confirm with him what
It's near
that
the
is.
school, as I recall.
Yeah, no, and is it the Ducks house or is it, anyway, so we have a little bit of a question on that. So Sarah, I will be contacting you to get the names of the homeowners for these properties where the trees are coming down. We're going to write them a letter that basically says these trees are within 6 feet of the edge of the pavement. They're dangerous. This was a preventive measure to save you money, and we will conceivably, if you choose, replace this tree with a tree in the future. So that's the taking down trees part. We also are looking at planting.
Can we just remind
Yeah,
the board how we came up with this list? Or how we got here to these 6?
I obviously inherited the list. So the list of trees that came down, Ethan put the list together.
Okay. that's-
You went around, drove around.
Okay.
Yep.
checked everything out.
And then every member of the Shade Tree Committee went around and looked at the trees. We prioritized the trees that are sort of the most obvious dead, dropping stuff. And so there are 3 on Linden Lane. There are 2 on Valley Farm, one of which apparently has a child swing on it. And so again, we need to write them a letter and then 3, I think on 9 Partners Road, and then we're gonna add the 39 Elm Drive one, which is Ethan's number 1 tree that he wanted removed. So those are they. And yeah, so then we go out and we sort of inspected them. We narrowed the list. I mean, Ethan's got a list of,
I just didn't know if it was the same list that Ethan had.
it's the same list
Okay.
that yeah. And so, I mean, there's more to the list, and obviously more trees die because of, our spongy moth situation last year and
Gypsy bones.
yeah. On the flip side, we also have identified some trees that we are going to plant. And similarly, I'm gonna be reaching out to those homeowners and or some places we don't need a homeowner, we just need the board to approve. There's gonna be a couple up by the tennis court. 57 Maple Avenue, 2 by the tennis courts, 1 by possibly structure works on Washington Avenue, and then there's 1 on Church Street as well. We have a couple of backup addresses for planting where we have taken down trees in the past, and we would be reaching out to those homeowners to see if they would like to have a tree to replace what we removed in the past. So that is what we have been working on.
My only question on the removal,
Yeah,
I think we had talked about it with Ethan, is maybe writing a bid and looking at other vendors
so
besides.
we talked
yeah.
about that, the Dorio, we did Melvin, Ors, yeah. So what came up with that is that out on a limb may well be, and we can do that. It slows the process a little bit, but again, if that's what we need to do. But the thing apparently with out on a limb is they have a particular kind of equipment that allows them to put this thing up, grab the tree. There's no cutting it
Yeah.
and hoping it falls correctly, because out on a limb has the actual machine that allows them to, basically cut it in stages. It's very clean, they know the village, they charge us a decent price. So that was the feeling of the Shade Tree Committee, was that let's talk to Ethan for sure. But the feeling was that out on a limb has served us well in the past, we know they have the equipment. And we're not dealing with, people in ropes and, a lot of potential,
The other company has that too, though.
do they-
They very might well be the best. I just think if it was any other service, we would have to go out to bid on it.
Yeah.
So I think we should follow the fiscal
Okay.
policy on that.
all right,
So I think Ethan can probably write, something up.
Yeah.
And then we solicit bids,
Yeah.
basically.
so
Everybody
do you
honest.
want me to get two, go with the three, or just
I believe we have to get three.
three, okay,
We have to ask for three.
Mhm.
Whether you
Okay.
get three is another story, but I would think there seems to be a lot of companies around these days,
Oh, yeah.
so I don't think it can hurt.
Yeah, a lot, the other company, whatever was mentioned, that Ethan mentioned, definitely has that.
so the Osorio,
Absolutely, yeah.
okay,
They're
so they
huge.
have the, okay,
Lewis is another one, yeah.
and Lewis.
Yeah.
Do we have a name
Lewis
set?
Tree Service?
Lewis Tree Service, okay. All right,
If you write it up properly, you request that piece of equipment,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you can't,
but
so someone
do
else,
we know what it's called?
I believe it's
Tree grabber.
telebuncher, but
Telebuncher, kind of, something like that.
Yeah.
What is it called?
It's like a crane telebuncher.
Yeah.
Crane,
Yeah.
I'm sure he can find out if he doesn't know. But if you word it such that this piece of equipment has to be used,
okay,
if you get a bid that doesn't have it, you can just, if I'm correct, you.
yeah, then that's, yeah,
And it would
that's all
still
the
count for our.
Yeah, got it, okay, all right.
Thank you, Scott.
Just one thing, I just want to add, because this happened last year. Just make sure when you ask and they say they're going to the tree, that is placed further than 6 feet away from the road.
Right,
That doesn't go
when we
exactly,
plant them,
yeah, right. So therefore, it's not ours to maintain for the next time.
Right,
Smart.
right,
Because that came up last year.
right away. And the committee will also liaise with Ethan and take a look at the trees.
Yep.
On Lower Franklin.
Yep.
Perfect.
sorry, Peter, I'm sorry, the trees on Lower Franklin,
With the bugs and the.
the
moths.
diner tree,
Yeah, the caterpillar or something
Okay.
flies on
Something
it.
with the newer ones.
so does Ethan have that, is it the man who owns the diner who is reached?
He had told me about it, and then I had
Okay.
told you and Ethan,
Yep.
and Ethan went down there the
Went
other
down
day
there,
and
okay, so
sprayed.
Ethan's read in on all of that, he knows about that, okay. And he's done whatever mitigation he can do,
I also have some local English sprays too that I know,
Okay.
and he's very cheap, and it would be under probably the threshold of needing 3 bids, and I would definitely recommend it.
okay,
Maybe someone on the shade tree knows what the issue is, I don't know if, I'm sure Ethan would agree, he's probably not
Yeah.
the foremost expert on it.
Yeah, the guy that I do, does
Insect
all of
larvae.
Altamont, so. I'm sure their trees are done right.
I would imagine they would be.
okay,
Anything else, trustee Buckland?
no, that's it for me.
Thank you. Trustee Lawson?
The community smart committee met yesterday. Part of that.
Can you give us a little background on what happened, or do you know what the?
Well, I mean, Tim can back me up, I guess, and whatever I miss, but we have some missing dates. A lot of missing dates and when we got back, because they refused the submission that we put in. And so we all, each one of us has a little tick list of how to address that. Is there anything you wanna add to that?
I'll just say that the criteria was 120 points. We got 106. We fell off missed by 14.
This is for bronze communities
Bronze.
smart,
Yeah,
Climate smart
climate
communities.
smart community
Bronze
certification.
Right.
yeah,
And this is really important for that
Grant opportunity.
New York
The
State and
WQIP,
other grants as
right.
well.
Right.
So this is a key
And
thing.
so the target is to resubmit by July 11th. And we've got 7 items to focus on, as Sharon just said. And there's one item which Mike Herzog and I met with Genevieve today, which is 16 points, which is going to require some working with some people at the IES to go and just basically fix some math errors and some work in the document. And so we're gonna work on that, hopefully, before we meet next, this is July 1st. Close that, so that's the big one, we're gonna focus on that. You know, Shannon said, the rest of the team has picked up the other 6 items to work on separately. So hopefully by July, well, definitely by July 11th, we'll resubmit and address all 7 of those items.
Do we have a sense of how
Yeah,
good we feel?
I think we're in good shape. The feedback was very pointed and very
I read the
actual,
comments, yeah.
so it's doable.
Okay,
All
that's
right.
great. Thank you for everyone's hard work. I know this is, yeah, it's a
Process.
tough one.
It's, yeah, long run. Yeah.
And is the light situation, is that part of it, or is that
Well,
different?
you know, it's 3 points with this light situation. This will probably be separate down the road, but
Right.
the immediate advantage of us getting this done is to save money in our electric bill. So I did get a bid back.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw him last Thursday and it was late last night, so I just saw it today, that he gave me an estimate. We're looking at like $5,500 to do the gym. I had him separate it. And then the rest of the building that we looked at, you know, from the top floor down to the basement, is about $5,200. And it's ballast less. So he can put everything in and we don't have to replace fixtures, it's just replacing bulbs. All of them. So we need to have, I guess I need to get 2 other bids, is that what
Is
you're
it
saying?
something you think that Ethan and the guys
Yeah, why
could
can't
do
why can't the boys do that?
in-house? Is it literally just changing bulbs? Maybe you can send around the
I'll
the estimate?
Yeah, I'll send you,
information.
I'll share it with you, absolutely. I don't know, I'm not an electrician.
I feel like if it's
Just changing bulbs and you're not changing the ballast in it, it's
in the
as
gym,
simple as
couldn't do the
doing
gym.
that in your own
Everything
house.
else, I'm sure they could reach
The
with
gym,
a
well,
wire.
yeah.
The gym is a little involved because of the
Yeah.
height.
Right.
And they're extra long bulbs, they're not just, you know, regular size bulbs.
Probably be like it.
Why don't you send it around and and
Okay,
maybe we can meet with Ethan someday.
okay.
Just need to rent a little freaky.
Get his take at least, can't hurt.
Yeah,
Nice rainy day project.
you can drive, he'll be happy.
But I think in the end, it'll save us money, so the sooner we get that done.
Yeah, no, it's great. Thank you for taking the lead on that.
Then we'll do that. I have one more.
Okay.
Two. I went to the town of Washington building for variance. They were discussing property lines for the new Bennett Commons pool improvement and pool house approved. There was a 3-foot discrepancy and they had like swapped properties, I guess, with
yeah.
George Whalen. And George Whalen was like, yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it. And so we were out of there in 10 minutes and everyone agreed to it.
Okay.
Pool and the pool house are going through. Just to let you know. And I think that's it.
Thank you. Trustee Sochi. We've been working on the hazard mitigation plan, which was something that was done last year. Some sort of Dutchess County update. Trustee Sochi, myself, and Ken met last week maybe. And I have to, I'm going to a meeting at Cornell Cooperative on Friday to hopefully conclude it. And I saw that was a comment. I can really follow what was needed there.
So 2 things is, will it be updated by July 11th?
I don't know if it's, I guess it will be updated,
So if,
yeah.
but just keep it posted, because if it is, we'll put it in there.
I don't know if this is like a Millbrook update or a Dutchess County update, it was like every municipality in Dutchess County had to do
Yeah, what
that.
happens is every municipality does their update, submits it to the county, and Bill Beal is the focal point to coordinate this, which has to go to FEMA, which is also.
I saw that.
So if we can at least have our update for 2025, we can put into our package, we're gonna put a statement in that says where it's at as far as headed off to the county for them to coordinate the,
It'll be out of our hands by July 11th.
okay, good.
This will be finalized on Friday. It sounds like it's a part 1, part 2, that they wanna just like nail everyone down.
Yeah, I think that's right.
That's what it sounded like,
Yeah. nothing more for us to do after this meeting.
So it's,
Friday.
once you and Ken have signed it, if I get a copy, I'll put it
Okay.
in the portal. All right. Good, it's great news.
I don't know if we ever got anything from FEMA on the last one.
No,
Okay. Thank you, trustee Sochi. Final comments, questions? All right, thank you all. I will make a motion to enter into executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.